Today, I want to talk about something that affects each and every one of us, regardless of our background or situation: the relentless pull of time. We live in an age where it's easy to get caught up in regrets about the past or anxieties about the future. The result? We're rarely fully present in the moment we're living right now. But what if I told you that this moment, the one you're in right now, is all that truly exists? This is where Stoic philosophy and the ancient wisdom of mindfulness offers us a path to peace. The present is our only reality. The Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." In Stoic philosophy, there's a central idea. The present moment is all we have. The past is gone, and the future hasn't arrived. What we think about either is largely out of our control. Yet, most of us spend our days either ruminating on what we should have done or worrying about what might happen. This constant mental tug-of-war between past and future creates anxiety, stress, and a sense of restlessness. Now, think about your own life. How many times have you been at dinner with loved ones, yet your mind was consumed by a work deadline? Or perhaps you've been in the middle of a meeting, but your thoughts were stuck on a mistake you made last week. This mental distraction pulls us out of the present and keeps us from fully living. Today's world has made it harder than ever to stay rooted in the present. We are bombarded by distractions, from notifications on our phones to the 24/7 news cycle. Every moment of our day is competing for attention. Social media constantly reminds us of what others are doing, how much more successful they seem, or what they have achieved compared to us. This creates a cycle of constant comparison, leaving us feeling inadequate or anxious. We find ourselves either regretting the things we haven't done yet, or fearing the consequences of the things we might not do in the future. We think that if we don't keep up, we'll miss out. So, we keep scrolling, we keep checking our emails, and we keep planning for a future that we can't predict. But here's a hard truth. By focusing so much on the past and future, we're missing the present. And the present is the only thing that is real. This is where the philosophy of Stoicism becomes incredibly valuable in today's life. Stoics taught that we must learn to accept the things we cannot control and focus only on what we can, namely, our actions in the present moment. In fact, one of the greatest lessons from Stoicism is that it's not events themselves that disturb us, but the opinions we hold about them. Let's say, for instance, you're stuck in traffic, and you're going to be late for an important meeting. What's your first reaction? Most people might feel a surge of anxiety, imagining the worst-case scenarios. What will happen if I'm late? How this will affect my work? But the reality is, you have no control over the traffic. What you do have control over is how you respond. Do you choose to stress and let anxiety consume you? Or do you accept that this moment is beyond your control and focus instead on remaining calm? Seneca reminds us that by focusing on the present, we free ourselves from emotional chaos. The only thing we truly possess is this moment, right now, and our response to it. Now let's take this Stoic wisdom and apply it to some of today's most common problems. Think about the pandemic. It has drastically changed our lives, bringing uncertainty about the future into sharper focus. Many of us lost loved ones, jobs, or our sense of security. When faced with such massive change, it's easy to spiral into what-ifs or regrets about what we could have done before everything changed. But Stoicism teaches us not to dwell on what we cannot change. We cannot alter the past, nor can we predict the future with absolute certainty. What we can do is live fully in the present, making the best decisions with the information and resources we have right now. In doing so, we free ourselves from the mental burden of constantly fearing the future or reliving the past. Even in our everyday lives, applying this wisdom can make a difference. Let's talk about work-life balance, a challenge many face today. We are so busy chasing goals, promotions, financial success, recognition, that we often miss the small moments that make life meaningful. The laughter of a child, a quiet cup of coffee in the morning, or a walk in the park. These moments get overshadowed by our anxiety over what we must achieve tomorrow. Stoicism teaches us that the beauty of life lies in these present moments, not in the future we are striving for. So how do we begin living more in the present, as the Stoics advised? How do we detach ourselves from past regrets and future worries? The answer lies in mindfulness. Mindfulness doesn't have to be complicated. It can start with something as simple as mindful breathing. When you find your mind drifting to worries about the future or regrets about the past, take a deep breath. Inhale slowly and bring your attention to the present moment. Focus on what you can see, hear, and feel around you. This is where you are right now, and this is what matters. Another technique is to practice gratitude. Take a few minutes each day to reflect on the things in your life that you are grateful for, no matter how small. Gratitude grounds us in the present and reminds us of the goodness that exists right now, not in some distant future or past. We discussed the importance of living in the present moment, embracing the now instead of getting lost in worries about the future or regrets about the past. Now, we'll take that conversation further by focusing on how we can respond to life's inevitable challenges with calm and clarity. We live in a fast-paced world, and challenges are an unavoidable part of life. Whether it's in our work, our personal relationships, or even our health, obstacles will always come our way. But what defines us is not the challenges themselves, but how we respond to them. Stoic philosophy teaches us that we have no control over external events. The only thing we can control is our response. Imagine you're in the middle of a stressful situation at work. Maybe a project is falling apart, a deadline is looming, and your team is frustrated. It's natural to feel overwhelmed in such moments. Our first reaction might be to panic, lash out in frustration, or blame ourselves and others for the situation. But the Stoics remind us that in times of stress, our emotional reactions only cloud our judgment, preventing us from seeing things clearly and making sound decisions. The key here is understanding that while we cannot control the stress or the obstacles life throws at us, we have full control over how we choose to respond. This idea is captured beautifully by Epictetus, another great Stoic philosopher, who said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." What does this mean in practical terms? When you face a challenge, you have two options. You can react impulsively, letting emotions like anger, fear, or frustration dictate your actions. Or you can pause, take a breath, and approach the situation with a calm, clear mind. The latter is the Stoic way. Think about a moment in your life when you faced an unexpected problem, a disagreement with a friend, a personal setback, or an unexpected financial issue. Often, our immediate response is emotional. We feel hurt, angered, or anxious. But here's the problem with emotional reactions. They often lead to poor decisions. We say things we don't mean. We make choices that we later regret, and we let our emotions drive us into deeper turmoil. Stoic philosophy offers a different approach, one that emphasizes detaching from the emotion of the moment. This doesn't mean ignoring your feelings or pretending they don't exist. Instead, it means acknowledging them, but not letting them control your response. As the Stoics taught, we are not at the mercy of our emotions. We are in control of our own minds. When faced with a challenge, the Stoic approach is to step back mentally and view the situation objectively. By doing this, we can assess the problem without being blinded by our emotional reactions. This creates a sense of clarity that allows us to respond thoughtfully, rather than react impulsively. One of the most profound insights in Stoic philosophy is that challenges are not inherently bad. In fact, many Stoics believed that obstacles are opportunities for growth. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and a devout Stoic, famously said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In other words, the challenges we face can actually become the path to our personal growth. When we encounter obstacles, they force us to develop resilience, patience, and wisdom. It's in these moments of difficulty that we discover our true strength. Consider a difficult situation in your life. Perhaps it's something you didn't expect, a sudden job loss, a health issue, or a conflict with someone you care about. In the moment, it's easy to view these situations as purely negative, but the Stoics invite us to look deeper. Every challenge carries within it an opportunity for growth, whether it's learning to be more patient, developing new skills, or gaining a deeper understanding of ourselves. By responding to challenges with calm and clarity, we allow ourselves to turn obstacles into opportunities. Instead of being overwhelmed by the situation, we take control of how we navigate it. using the challenge as a stepping stone toward growth and wisdom. Now, let's get practical. How do we start to cultivate this kind of calm and clarity in our daily lives? How do we ensure that when life throws challenges our way, we don't immediately react with emotion, but instead respond with wisdom? The first step is to recognize that our immediate emotional reactions are not the final word. When you feel stress rising or a situation spiraling out of control, pause. Take a deep breath. In that pause, you create space between the event and your reaction to it. This small moment of mindfulness allows you to shift from a reactive mindset to a reflective one. Secondly, practice viewing challenges objectively. Ask yourself, what's within my control in this situation? The Stoics were very clear that most of what happens in life is outside our control. Other people's actions, external events, even the outcome of our efforts. But what we can control is how we respond, and this is where our power lies. Focus on what you can do right now to move forward, and let go of everything else. Finally, remember that challenges are part of life, and no one is immune to them. Instead of avoiding difficult situations or wishing them away, approach them with curiosity. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? This shift in perspective turns every obstacle into an opportunity for growth. Now, let's take a step back and think about some of the common challenges we face today. Problems that many of us can relate to. Whether it's the constant pressure to succeed, the challenges of balancing work and family life, or even the anxiety surrounding world events. We are constantly bombarded with situations that test our resilience. The Stoic philosophy is more relevant today than ever before. We live in an era of uncertainty, financial instability, rapid technological changes, and a globalized world that brings us face to face with complex issues like climate change, political unrest, and pandemics. It's easy to feel overwhelmed, anxious, or even paralyzed by the enormity of these challenges. But this is where Stoicism shines. By focusing on what we can control, our thoughts, our actions, and our responses, we can navigate even the most difficult challenges with grace and resilience. We can cultivate a calm mind, even in the midst of chaos. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with this thought. Challenges are inevitable, but suffering is optional. We will all face difficulties in life. That's a given. But how we choose to respond to them is entirely up to us. By embracing the wisdom of Stoicism, by cultivating calm and clarity in the face of adversity, we can transform our lives. Remember that every challenge is an opportunity for growth. The next time you find yourself in a difficult situation, pause, take a breath, and ask yourself, how can I respond to this with wisdom and calm? This small shift in perspective can make all the difference. We talked about the importance of living in the present moment and how to face life's challenges with calm and clarity. Now we'll take this conversation to its next logical step, developing mental strength through the practice of mindfulness and stoicism. In today's world, we hear a lot about physical strength, how to build our muscles, improve our endurance, or push ourselves to the limits of our physical abilities. But how often do we focus on building mental strength? The kind of strength that helps us weather life's storms, keep our emotions in check, and stay steady when everything around us feels chaotic. Mental strength, much like physical strength, isn't something we're born with. It's something we cultivate, one small practice at a time. And just like working out at the gym, we have to show up consistently to build this inner resilience. Stoic philosophy and mindfulness offer us a powerful framework for doing just that. Many people think of mental strength as simply the ability to endure hardship or suppress emotions. But Stoicism teaches us that true mental strength is much deeper than that. It's not about pretending we're unaffected by life's difficulties or pushing our emotions aside. Rather, it's about developing the resilience to face challenges with clarity and the wisdom to manage our emotions in a way that serves us rather than controls us. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This quote gets to the heart of Stoic mental strength. Our minds, not the external world, are the source of our power. No matter what happens around us, whether it's a failure at work, a strained relationship, or an unexpected health issue, Our mental strength comes from how we choose to respond. And this ability to respond with strength and resilience is something we can develop. In our modern lives, the need for mental strength has never been greater. We face constant pressure to perform, to succeed, to keep up with the fast pace of life. Whether it's the demands of work, the never-ending stream of information on social media, or the pressures of maintaining relationships, many of us feel like we're constantly on edge. It's easy to get overwhelmed in this environment. Many people struggle with anxiety, stress, and burnout because they feel like they're constantly running on a treadmill that never stops. In times like these, mental strength isn't just a nice to have. It's essential for our well-being. So how do we build this strength? How do we develop the mental resilience needed to navigate today's world without losing our sense of calm or purpose? One of the most powerful tools for building mental strength is mindfulness. At its core, mindfulness is about being fully present in the moment without judgment. It's about observing our thoughts and emotions without getting carried away by them. This simple practice is the foundation of mental resilience because it teaches us to step back from our automatic reactions and regain control over how we think and respond. When you practice mindfulness regularly, you start to notice the subtle ways your mind tries to pull you into stress and negativity. Maybe you find yourself replaying an argument you had with someone or worrying about a future event that hasn't even happened yet. Mindfulness helps you recognize these mental patterns and break free from them. Imagine you're in a difficult situation. Maybe you've received some bad news or you're feeling overwhelmed by a project at work. Without mindfulness, your mind might spiral into stress and worry, leading to emotional reactions that don't serve you. But with mindfulness, you can take a breath, observe your thoughts and emotions without judgment, and choose a more constructive way to respond. This simple practice of being present, of observing rather than reacting, is one of the most effective ways to build mental strength. The more you practice mindfulness, the less control your emotions have over you, and the more control you have over them. But mindfulness alone is not enough. We also need the mental discipline that Stoicism offers. The Stoics believed that the mind is like a muscle that can be trained. And just like with physical exercise, training the mind requires effort, discipline, and consistency. One of the key teachings of Stoicism is the importance of focusing on what we can control and letting go of what we cannot. This practice is the cornerstone of mental discipline. When we waste mental energy worrying about things outside our control, other people's opinions, the outcome of events, or even the weather, we weaken our mental strength. Instead, Stoicism teaches us to direct our focus toward what we can control, our own thoughts, actions, and attitudes. For example, you may not be able to control whether your company downsizes or whether you win a promotion, but you can control how hard you work, how you treat others, and how you respond to adversity. This shift in focus empowers us to take control of our mental and emotional state, no matter what is happening around us. Another important Stoic principle is voluntary discomfort. The Stoics believed that by deliberately exposing ourselves to discomfort, we train our minds to be more resilient in the face of life's inevitable challenges. This might mean taking cold showers, fasting for a day, or practicing self-restraint in other areas of life. These small acts of discipline build mental toughness and help us develop the strength to endure more significant challenges when they arise. In today's world, where so many of us are bombarded with distractions and stress, the Stoic approach to mental strength is more relevant than ever. Instead of being consumed by the pressures of life, we can use Stoicism and mindfulness to develop a calm, disciplined mind that is unshaken by external events. Let's take a look at some of the challenges we all face, such as the constant comparison culture fueled by social media. It's easy to get caught up in the lives of others, feeling inadequate when we see their successes, vacations, or achievements. But with mental strength, we can step back from this mindset. Stoicism teaches us to focus on our own journey, recognizing that everyone's path is different. Mindfulness allows us to detach from the impulse to compare ourselves, bringing our attention back to what truly matters, our own growth and actions. Even in relationships, mental strength plays a crucial role. When we face conflict with loved ones, the initial reaction might be to blame, lash out, or feel misunderstood. But with a disciplined mind, we can approach these conflicts with a sense of calm, taking responsibility for our part and engaging in constructive dialogue. This strength of mind allows us to navigate relationships with more empathy and understanding, rather than letting emotional reactions damage the bond. So, how can we start building mental strength today? How do we apply these principles of mindfulness and stoicism to our daily lives? Number 1. Daily mindfulness practice. Start by setting aside just 5 minutes each day to practice mindfulness. Find a quiet space, sit comfortably, and focus on your breath. Whenever your mind wanders, whether it's to past regrets or future worries, gently bring your attention back to the present moment. This simple practice strengthens your ability to control your thoughts and emotions. Number 2. Focus on what you can control. Throughout your day, make a conscious effort to focus only on what you can control. When you find yourself stressing about things beyond your influence, remind yourself that your energy is better spent on your own actions and attitudes. Number 3. Embrace voluntary discomfort. Introduce small acts of discomfort into your routine, whether it's going for a run in the rain, skipping a meal, or practicing self-restraint in other areas. These acts train your mind to handle discomfort with grace and resilience. Number 4. Reframe challenges as opportunities. The next time you face a difficult situation, try to view it as an opportunity for growth. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this challenge make me stronger? This mental shift transforms obstacles into stepping stones for personal growth. As we conclude, remember that mental strength is not something you either have or don't have. It's a skill that anyone can develop with practice, patience, and persistence. By embracing the principles of stoicism and mindfulness, we can cultivate the resilience needed to navigate the pressures of modern life with calm and clarity. The world may throw challenges our way, but we have the power to respond with strength, wisdom, and grace. Through daily practice, we can build the mental fortitude that allows us to stay steady, no matter what life brings. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to continuing this journey of mental and emotional growth with you all. Stay strong. Thank you.